Hey, hello folks, I'll be coming at you again today with another StarCraft 2 cast from the Something Awful forums. Rip Zeez, as we like to say around these parts. And we'll just load up here into a Zerg versus Protoss matchup. We've got Laxbro on the Zerg versus Manpurse on his Protoss. Now I've got no idea, I have to confess, about these two players. Can't tell you any of their previous stats or history, so I'm as blind as you are folks, and we'll dive right in. Seeing ZVP on New Gettysburg Ladder Edition, which is again, I think there's a pool of 3 maps we're using for the tournament on Something Awful, and they're all a bit unusual. I think they're all a fair throwback. Some of them are years old, I think, from my limited knowledge of StarCraft 2 maps. But anyway, we'll see Manpurse on the Protoss here, drop down a wee pylon, looking to block off his main base. Obviously a bit worried about getting a 12 pull from our Zerg opponent here. Oh. Laxbro looking like maybe going to go for the early hatchery. Waiting until he has, 17 supply, going for that 17 hatch, so fairly standard. And early scout coming in from Manpurse here on his little probe, so he's going to see that hatcheries went up. He's probably going to know that not a dangerous rush, not a spawning pool first, and just confirming that, making sure has the spawning pool even went down yet? Are we seeing? If we just have a little look at the Zerg base, still no spawning pool, so that's a very late spawning pool. They could be perhaps doing a little 3 hatchery before pool rush. That would be a strange build to go for, but you never know. Then we're going to see the spawn and the extractor getting dropped there, and I think we're just going to have the little drone chasing the wee Protoss away, because you know what those little probes can do when they get left alone. All sorts of havoc. Going to see a scouting drone that I missed earlier, just walking away across to try and confirm maybe if there was any early forges for the cannon rush, or maybe early double gateway aggression. We don't see any of that. We actually see just the natural base being taken. We've got a Zerg being sent to the north base here, the gold base. And is that going to be a sneaky little ninja hatchery? It is, yeah. So we've got 3 base for the Zerg here, and nice little sneaky play taking the gold base. We'll see if Manpurse can find that later on. He's got the single gas here, fully saturated, and just enough workers about on that mineral line. Standard play for the Zerg here, just the 1 gas being taken. Movement speed just being researched there as Laxbro hit 100 on the gas, so that's good timing there. The spawning pool was late, but good timing on getting that movement speed out. We've got the wee solitary zealot here for Manpurse, just usual little wee scouting zealot. I don't think he went as far as to see the nope, he missed the gold base, so he's just trying to do his best to maybe nip in, get a few drones, but I think the Queen's going to pop just in time, and also a couple of Zerglings too. They'll easily be able to ward off the Soul Zealot. Good micro there from Laxbro, saving that Zerg. Zealots can of course kill Zerglings in 2 hits. No, sorry, 3 hits, 2 once they get the +1 upgrade, I believe. So, you know, if you're doing heavy Zealot versus Zergling play, you do want to get an early +1. Makes them that bit more efficient. We'll see the early warp gate being researched. The forge, lots of warp gates here. This is 3 warp gates so far, I think. And how's Laxbro looking for units here? 24 drones, so strong droning. I do like the early insurance with the Zerglings. You kind of need that. Sometimes I'll play Zergs on ladder. I'm awful, by the way. I play at a fairly low level, like 2,500 MMR. And Zerg players literally just drone. It's just, you know, spawn, lava, DD, and that's all. You just not build units, and you just walk all over them. But anyway, this Zergling really can't stand up against all these units, and going to walk back, but movement speed being done for the Zerg there. They'll be able to chase him down. Oh, not the best micro there. Could have perhaps saved that Zergling. And we're maybe going to see these guys push forward with a counter-attack. Meanwhile, the gold base not yet getting saturated. We've got a few larvae there that could be getting morphed into... we're going to see a sneaky one here. Manpurse now probably seeing the lack of a 3rd base and probably thinking, what's up here? This is a bit strange. You would expect a Zerg to have taken a 3rd base by now. Unless they were doing something cheesy, like either a proxy hatch or a ninja gold. These Zerglings just sitting outside. We don't have any evolution chambers, I believe. No, we've got some spine crawlers morphing at the top though. And a couple of Zerglings going to get killed here. They just not enough DPS to get through this fairly decent wall off here. A few more Zealots getting introduced and they will now transform into warp gates. Good little scouting from the Zerglings here. They're just going to run around, try and see if there's anything unusual going on. Also got occupancy over this Zelnaga tower, so this probe should get chased down here quite handily. Won't be a bother for the Zergling with the movement speed. What tech choices? We've got a nice battery here, so a nice little wall off for the Protoss. We've got a reasonable defence up for now, and we will see a robo facility being taken, as well as that second gas, and third and fourth gas on the natural. So it seems like the Protoss is looking to ramp up heavily into perhaps Warp Prism Immortal play, perhaps Colossus would probably be the more reasonable unit. We will see if the Robo... God, I even forget what it's called. What is it actually called? I can't see on this interface. You get a Robo facility and then, what is it, a Robotics Bay to get your Colossus? Ah, I love this! We saw this in the previous Zerg v Protoss match I casted, where the Protoss just get that nice little wall off, just to delay any sort of Zergling run-bys mainly, but also just to give a little bit of map control. Now, I don't like this. The Overlord is flying straight into the path of Photon Cannon. It'll take maybe about a dozen hits to destroy that, but he is going to notice and rally it away, so that will not fall without a problem. It's nice, we're getting the gold base saturated here, so the income, I believe I'm able to show that here. Yeah, we'll see the income is huge for the Zerg player. More than like 2 times the amount of minerals, but very low on the gas. Although you can, I believe, get away with that as a Zerg player. You are, you know, fairly mineral hungry as opposed to gas hungry early on, in relation to the other races at least. So they do have a huge income, but they're not really spending the units to sort of go along. Good defences here with the static defense from the Zerg, and we do have the 2 early Evo chambers, but there's no real units being brought out, just a lot of spine crawlers and spore crawlers for
attacking our cute little
any push that goes through. We've got the Warp Prism carrying a few Zealots that'll have a chance to make a little push in, and now double Stargate being dropped by the Protoss player. So maybe now sort of thinking of switching into heavy Viking play would be the most likely outcome. Good creep spread here from the Zerg, just kind of getting that. Yeah, at this point the Protoss still doesn't know about the hidden gold base in the north. Although, you know, they have started to clear out a little bit of real estate with you know, those solitary Zerglings just taking up a scouting position. The 4th base away to finish for the Zerg, and all the gases, or the extractors at least, up. So, Roach is also starting to pop out. And yeah, it's kind of fairly balanced. We've got a lot of queens here in the middle. They're just doing a good job of spreading that creep. And maybe at some point they will be walked across the map for a bit of a play against this toss. I like how the oh, there's an observer here. Also, well, I like how both players have that that vision over these sort of sneaky bases as well in the south. Although you're more likely to find these as you're going to fly an air unit over it as you're heading to your enemy's main. Warp Prison loaded up with some Zealots here, but I don't think it's going to get the chance to really do anything. These Zerglings are doing a good job scouting it out, and in fact are congregating outside the 3rd base here of the Protoss. There's a lot of Zerglings here, and it's just going to be a lot of DPS, way too much for the Protoss army to handle. A few Zerglings will be killed, but the Zerglings will wipe out the Protoss army and look to cancel that 3rd base. Let's pop it on everyone view for the moment. Just too many Zealots now. Do they have the +1? Actually can't tell using this interface. Normally it would be at the very bottom. Can I tell by looking at the forges? Nope. Well, it did seem like they did, because they did carve through those Zerglings pretty handily. I imagine there's a way to know. I would assume control and... Nope. Nope, that's pause. Oh well, I'll have to learn how to do that one next. Baby steps, one at a time. I don't like how he's taking workers off the gas here for in lieu of... Well, he's saturated them now anyway, so it's not the biggest deal. But yeah, this stage kinda... There's not too much of an army on the field to the Protoss. Heavy drones, 71 drones for the Zerg. A few roaches out, a few corruptors as well. I mean, did he scout the stargates? I don't think he did, no, so there's not really been any air units to kind of prompt that change in the tech. But I believe they'll do a good job of the Warp Prism and the Vikings, so they are a slight counter to a small element of the Protoss army at the moment. Protoss kind of just going hard on the carriers as well, so yeah, they'll actually do well against the carriers. I didn't realise they were. So this could come down to being a near battle via near battle, although I would like to see more corruptors for the Zerg. These zealots going to get easily picked off. And,
mineral field depleted.
Protoss should start summoning in units. You do have that photon cannon, and yeah, that Warp Prism should get chased down. Maybe there are a lot of Phoenix. They're very good against the Mutalisks, and the Zerglings aren't going to be able to do enough damage against this photon cannon. It's going to push them back. Carriers would have a lot of interceptors flying in the air. These Phoenix can maybe try and chase down these. They just have to turn and shoot though, and they will eat up those Phoenix. Yep, that's one down. Both players just looking to disengage after that. Bunch of stalkers getting warped in on the Protoss side of the map, and we see a Nidus Swarm very strangely erupting in a completely empty base that's cut off from the rest of the. That's a strange play. Maybe he was just a bit kind of panicked. Oh no! Ah, I see what he's doing. Okay, well that was my lack of knowledge there playing up. That's one way of doing that. I would have used drop lords personally, but I suppose why not? You can just spit out as many drones as you need as soon as that base is up. That's actually quite a cool play from the Zerg. I quite like that. I think we're gearing up for a big fight here. There's not a lot of Protoss on the map. Not a lot at all. And this Zerg force is going to swoop in on an undefended base. There's a lot of Zerglings here. They'll do a lot of damage tearing down those. Look at how fast those buildings fall. The probes are going to get hit as well. Corruptors in the air to take down the Phoenix. The carriers, they'll be the main damage source for the Protoss army, but it looks like there's going to be too many Corruptors that will be able to push them back. There are a lot of interceptors in the sky, but there's a lot more Zerglings on the field. Roach is now starting to come in as well. These Stalkers are surrounded. They're not going to be able to blink away. And it looks like they're going to chomp down on the army and take down this Nexus. I don't think there's enough in the army, especially with these Corruptors. If they just focus fire down these carriers, they'll be dead soon. And so many Zerglings, even with the batteries, it's not going to be enough. I just don't think there's enough Protoss units in the map here. Just a single sorority carrier is going to get taken down, and it might be a GG coming out soon from our Zerg player, or from our Protoss player, sorry. They only have really a few warp gates. There are Archons being morphed, and full-on carriers getting pumped out, but there's so many bases for the Zerg player. I don't really see... Oh, a nice little sneaky base being taken here, but look at how fast these Zerglings are going to rip this down. Are we going to see a cancel? They're just going to run away from the Archons. Good play there. 3 Archons against that many Zerglings. Not the greatest trade for the Zerglings. They, of course, do bonus damage against biological units and have splash damage. So, all these Zerglings running back to fight off this solitary zealot. I like it. Zerg just playing run around the rosy. I do like the burrow on the drones. That is fantastic. No detection here for the Protoss, so almost no drones die there. And Zerg sitting on 82 drones compared to the 48 probes for the Protoss. Almost a real mismatch, as these carriers are going to make their way slowly across the map, but Zerg now controls almost entirely this side of the map. Almost fully with creep spread, other than these just sort of 2 bases up here. 3 Archons for the Protoss. They are going to make way... I think this will be the first that he realises about the whole base. And he's going to click down all these workers and kill them, but there's going to be a swoop in. Oh, the Banelings retreat. All the Hydras. Where did the Hydras even come from? There's about 16, 20... I've lost count. How many Hydras here? 24 Hydras, maybe? Oh, the Dark Templar was that? Oh, they're not going to want to stand there, those carriers. The interceptors are going to get shot out of the sky. They're going to even move forward. The carriers are blown up. And Manpurse there, GG's. Overall, we're going to see the actual GG here.
Mineral field depleted.
Yep, GG. And yeah, good exciting game. I was impressed with the Zerg there. Very good coverage across the map. Sort of struck and counter-attacked. Stopped the Protoss taking their 3rd base for a little bit. The burrow, the Nexus play to saturate that base in the bottom. All fantastic plays. And yeah, grand. So Yeah, well done, Laxbro, and I suppose we'll be back with a game 2.